What's good, guys? I'm Dave, and in this video I'm going to show you why Junction Food and Drink is Denver's most family-friendly food hall. Ever since Junction opened up during peak COVID, this has been the food hall that I've visited most in the Denver area. It's always clean, it's bright, they have a ton of TVs, and they generally show sports on them, and it's just a nice place to hang out, and it's pretty easy to find a seat. I think our 1-year-old son has gone to more food places than almost any other baby his age, and it's always great to find places that are easy to take kids, and Junction is definitely one of them. We've been bringing him here since he was 3 months old, and I actually think Junction has gotten more family-friendly recently. What Junction lacks in hipster cool factor, I actually think it makes up for it by being a good place to go for kids of all ages. So if you're looking for another food hall to check out, or you just want another place that you can take your kids and eat with them, let me show you why Junction is a good place for you to check out. First, Junction is basically one mega-sized room. There are places like Zeppelin Station and Edgewater Public Market where there are a bunch of twists and turns, and you could probably lose your kids in there if they run around like crazy. And then Avanti in both Boulder and Denver, half of it is downstairs and the other half is upstairs. Because Junction is literally the most open concept ranch-style food hall in Denver, you can see your kids anywhere. They can waddle all over the place and they'll still be in your line of sight. Especially if you have slightly older kids that kind of run around like crazy and go wherever they want. Having a nice open space like this with very clear sightlines can really be a blessing and take some stress off of your eating experience. It's nice because you don't have to navigate any stairs, you don't have to worry about your kid choosing some weird seat in some location that you would never want to sit in. And since it's a really big room, you don't have to worry about where to stash a car seat or a stroller. Next, this is a recent thing, but Junction now has more high chairs than any food hall in Denver. They didn't have them initially when they opened, but I actually emailed the parent company and asked if they could get some because I'm sure I wasn't the only person that could benefit from it. After I emailed them, they replied a few days later and said that they ordered a ton of high chairs, and they definitely did. There's a bunch there now. They're all really clean and in really good condition. I don't know if my email is the thing that made them get them, but I'm just happy that they have them. When we went to Junction last week, they had the high chairs all stacked up next to the bathrooms and the pizza place. They're super easy to spot, easy to get to, and like everything with Junction, it was clean and everything was in good working order. All the buckles were in good shape because the chairs are brand new. A lot of times high chairs are either non-existent or very hard to come by in Denver food halls, or it can be really annoying to carry the high chairs upstairs because they're all downstairs, or they might be tucked around the corner and you might never find them. They're all just out in the open at Junction, and that's really great. Also, when it comes to seating, they have a lot of bar top high seating, but they also have a bunch of standard tables as well. So if you're using a high chair, your kid can just sit at a regular height and use the table like everybody else, which is always nice. Also, if your kids are a little bit older and they don't need high chairs, there are a bunch of different seating options. I know that when I was a kid, I used to like sitting in those high tops or sitting on benches, of which they have many at Junction. So you have a bunch of good seating options. If you're enjoying this video so far, please give it a like to help more people find a kid-friendly food hall in Denver. Next, this one will inevitably change a little bit as food stalls move in and out of Junction, but the food selection at Junction today is pretty kid-friendly. There are sandwiches, burgers, tacos, and even empanadas for the more refined children's palate. I'm all for kids eating anything and everything, but there's a reason why most kids really love goldfish crackers and macaroni and cheese. There are just a lot of things that kids would like here. Sometimes some food hall favorites like ramen, sushi, and curry aren't necessarily a big hit with all kids, so when it comes to the kid-friendly favorites, Junction has those covered. So kids can make a choice that they'll like, and there are good options for adults as well, of course, so pretty much everybody is guaranteed to get something that they like. Cleaver & Co. is one of my favorite stalls inside Junction right now. They serve great burgers and grilled chicken sandwiches, so if your kids are into things like that, they'll be in great shape with Cleaver & Co. There's also a gelato stall where kids can sample a bunch of different flavors before choosing what they want. Not all food halls have dessert places, and it's nice to have something like ice cream that every kid generally likes available inside Junction. While Junction is south of the city, its location actually has some family-friendly activities that are nearby that also are a nice plus. There's a movie theater and a Dave & Buster's within walking distance, and it's right next to the light rail, so if you're taking your kids on the train to go on an adventure, this could be one of your stops. I fully appreciate and understand that going to a Dave & Buster's or a movie theater is not necessarily the coolest thing for adults to do, but kids like these things, and I think they're also reasonably fun for adults. This way you can hang out with your kids, do something that they'll have a blast at, and you won't be bored out of your mind, and then you can stop at Junction either before or after. A lot of Denver area food halls are in places where it's not super walkable for kids, or there's not a lot of kid-friendly activities that are nearby, so the location of Junction being in the South Denver area is actually kind of a nice plus when you have your kids with you. Another one of my favorite parts about Junction is that they have a ton of TVs that are generally showing sports, which I'm obviously a big fan of, but they don't blast them insanely loud for either sports or play music super loud inside. So if you have kids with any sensory things, or you just know that your kids don't really do well in loud areas, it's not super loud here compared to a lot of other Denver food halls. This means that you can go out with your family, you can keep tabs on the game by watching them, but everyone who isn't interested in sports ball of any kind won't have to scream trying to yell over the sound of the game. There are TVs both inside and on the outdoor patio, which is really nice for families as well. There's also a full bar so kids can get their kid-friendly food, you can get your adult-friendly beverage, and kind of have a sports bar light feel by being able to watch the game, get a drink, and enjoy yourself. So if you're into sports or your kids are easily distracted by them or kind of like watching them, they're generally showing whatever the big game is of the day. They show different things on different TVs, so you might have golf on one side and college football on another. They generally show the good stuff. Next, now that Junction's outdoor patio is open, this is a great option for families with kids that make a freaking mess when they eat. The outdoor tables are a good height for the high chairs, so you can bring a high chair outside and have your kid eat at the table with you. It's also across the street from the movie theater, so it's kind of fun to watch people walking back and forth between the two places. Especially if you have a really small kid, this can be a nice way for your kid to see some city life from the comfort of their high chair without having to go deep into the city. Sometimes it's just nice to have an outdoor eating patio space where your whole family can sit and eat together at one of the bigger tables and not worry about how much space you're taking up. We went to Junction during the Euro Soccer Championships, and it was pretty cool to just see really big families there with kids of all ages hanging out on the outdoor patio. The older kids got to sit at the high top tables, and the younger kids would use the high chairs and sit at the smaller tables, the regular height tables that were outside. The outdoor patio wasn't fully up and running when Junction initially opened, so it's just so nice to have it be there and to have people use it the way that it was designed. When you're looking for places to eat with your kids, especially when you have babies, it can really be a bummer when you show up somewhere and realize it's just not going to work for you. I hope that this video helped you see that Junction is actually a pretty great place to go with your kids. Since you've made it this far, please give this video a like and share this video with your spouse or even with a friend that likes going places with kids. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to catch you at Junction or another food hall soon.